Welcome back, everyone, to the International 2015 last day of the group stages. So, I mean, every match starts to matter more and more. But you guys doing all right over there?
We're good.
Glad I get to have just my own scene, none of that business. But really, we could have some upsets here in terms of standing going into the very last day, and then determine who goes into the upper bracket, the lower bracket, and even then who gets to choose their opponent and not. It is going to matter quite a bit. But of course, our three lovely gentlemen. How are you guys?
Puck? Fuzzy Wuzzy? Tide Hunter?
Tide Hunter. Yeah. So glad to see you guys again. Not you guys, those guys. But how are you on the other side? I mean, I guess I should include you too, Cinder and Merlini and Winter.
Good.
I'm
playing good.
So
I'm excited.
I'm actually fairly surprised that the group stage hasn't been settled. I would say in the force, at least not any of the stage, any of the groups.
I'm really excited for today. This is the most this generally is the most exciting day of the group stage because now you've established what matchups are absolutely the key matchups, right? So there's going to be a few select ones today that are very, very important, and that should be good to watch.
Yeah. What about you, Winter?
There's going to be huge ravages today.
Yeah, we'll do for that. But as you mentioned, there's quite a few different scenarios that we can look through, various things that can happen, and then even not just series, but each game, 1-1 can make a huge difference compared to 2-0. Going forward, we will have a chance to talk about all of that, but first we have a couple clips to review what happened in day 3. Every day's been really good as we take a look at these highlights. I mean, every day I think we've never been surprised at what number of highlights we've had. This one is Secret LGD. That's how we kicked off day 3. Of course, both teams battling for first place in Group A.
Yeah, this was the fight that we were discussing, that they thought they were stronger with the BKB and the gyro. They tried to initiate with the tiny where they didn't have to take the fight, right? They could have just split push and just continue farming the whole map and just defend high ground, but they chose to take a fight outside of their base.
Yeah, and this is the same matchup, game 2.
I actually don't know if they saw the BKB in the prior fight because they kind of relocated right on top of them, but yeah.
On the SF as well.
Yeah, on the SF.
Yeah, of course, game 2, the story was Maybe's Lash just going completely crazy.
Oh, and this is kind of a split-up fight.
They wasted the Echo Slam on the lone bounty.
I think they thought that they could get in and get out. I don't know that. I don't think that they knew that the anti-mage was so far on the left. I thought that
probably
he was on the right side of the team, so they were just going to pick one off, retreat, but then EG counter-engage as soon as they blew ultimates on to the bounty hunter.
Yeah, and then they just pushed them all back in.
I mean, Empire had a really good start this game. Storm had a 15-minute Bloodstone, 16-minute, but then he had no progression after that. He kept dying in fights, getting caught out. He just didn't play really a good game of Storm, especially you expect that from a player like Silent. And back to the point where Cinderon was also talking about, he went Bloodstone first when he could have gone Orchid because Anti-Mage didn't have a good time. So his mental timing is going to be later than usual.
And we're looking at a matchup between LGD and Na'Vi, also from yesterday.
They were trying so many times to combo LGD, but maybe survived with Shallow Grave. I would say at least 3 or 4 times. They did have a really nice high ground defense one time, but it was just a little bit too late.
Wasn't it with 3 heroes?
Na'Vi should be. I think this is where Na'Vi pushes them back. They get their combo off.
But it was only 3 heroes doing the combo. I remember it was the Sonic Wave and Echo Slam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's here.
Yeah. I mean, there are only 3 left. Yeah, there we go. Very, very beautiful combo, of course, for those 3 heroes, and that does keep Na'Vi in the game. But
I mean, if only there was one more guy alive,
Yeah.
But still, the problem is, even if Na'Vi team wipe this, they are still behind in this game, I think. They could have made an incredible hold, but they kind of needed to do it 2 or maybe 3 times with the advantage LGD already gained at that point, I think.
Is this the Battle Fury cleave?
Don't spoil it, Winter!
Winter just casually puts it up there. I think by now most people have heard.
Alright, so if you didn't see this yesterday, Ember Spirit is going to get 4 kills with a double crit toward the end. Just wait a bit.
Well, thanks. Now we don't even have to watch the clips.
Oh, wow. Told you so.
Oh, wow. The Prophet Cinder.
It was obvious.
But that made some rounds yesterday. Definitely one of the big talks of yesterday, MVP Phoenix with that Ember.
Chalk another one up for the Rapier account.
Sure, yeah.
That was insane though. Toby got excited with good reason in that clip. Like that was.
Yeah, that was.
It's always incredible when Ember gets that big.
Yeah. So again, every day we've had knowledge or noticeable highlights, and definitely teams showing up, even if they're kind of in the lower half of their groups, they'll show up with some big plays, at least in one game, say, all right, we can still put up a good fight against the strong teams. Once again, proving that TI5, we still don't know exactly how things are going to pan out going into the main event. But let's take a look at the standings, and we have a couple scenarios to run through, right? It's going to get a little bit complicated today. Could have some ties. That could be determined even, how the tiebreaker works out. That could be determined as we go through today. Group A, we have LGD and Secret tied with 14 points. Cloud9 looking relatively safe with 10 points. In third place, Complexity with 7. And then, of course, MVP, Phoenix, Fnatic both vying for a spot in that top 4, trying to knock Complexity down. Cloud9, safe in the top 4, not necessarily in third spot, but we were discussing this earlier. Third and fourth doesn't really matter because you don't have a choice to choose your opponent. I mean, I guess maybe it matters if the opponents on the other side are like, well, we don't really know, so we'll just choose fourth instead of third in the group. But after that, it doesn't really matter. Of course, Group B, pretty close to Group B. We could actually potentially still see some ties for that fourth place, resulting in actual tiebreaker games. But let's talk about LGD versus Secret. I mean, first of all, the fact that they're still tied is pretty incredible. Maybe the fact that LGD has been able to keep up and even be a little bit ahead at times over Secret in Group A. What do you guys think about that? I mean, Secret, everyone thought was like definitely number 1 or 2 in Group A, right?
Yeah. Well, going in, I wasn't sure which to place LGD. They've really won me over. I think, as it looks right now, they're definitely a contender for top 4. So after seeing the games play out in Group A, I think the placements are actually, like, there hasn't been like one of those like really off games that completely change the order of teams relative to their strength. Mm-hmm. I think it's pretty representative the way all the teams are placed. It does look like the correct order right now. And if there is anything that could change, I guess it's Fnatic versus Complexity coming up later.
Yeah.
Where Fnatic could technically overtake Call, but the rest for me looks pretty solid.
And Complexity being this high and looking to secure that spot in fourth place in Group A Winter, that's a pretty surprising story in and of itself.
Yeah, it's definitely not what I expected. I probably expected maybe IG or Na'Vi to actually be on the 4th spot, but Complexity really surprised everyone with the picks. They have been picking a lot of different heroes like Prophet. Techies especially is one of their favorite niche picks in this event. And I mean, in the interview they said they wanted to prove everyone wrong, so I think they did.
Yeah, I think they've already achieved that quite a bit. And then going forward, they still have a lot more room and potential. On the side of Group B, we didn't look at it too closely when we brought the standings up, but one of the things that everyone's been talking about is Newbie, showing up to play a lot better than most people expected. Sure, they did drop a series yesterday, so now there's a 4-1 loss, so they only have 4 points, but still in the run for the top 4 spots. Ben, are you impressed by Newbie or just pleasantly surprised? Where are you placing them right now for Group B?
Pleasantly surprised. They drew most of their series, and I think they're a long shot for the top 4 right now, unless they 2-0 out the rest of their games. But I like the way that they play. It definitely seems like they practice at least this meta a lot. Sometimes when I watch teams that have taken a step back, they just seem super uncomfortable with the hot meta picks, and that's not the case for Newbie.
Yeah, Newbie. We'll see as we go forward, but hey, the fact that still they're able to, I guess, go ahead and execute their plans that well to be able to compete with the top teams in Group B, draw, and then have a little bit more confidence. Because even Newbie, when we just gathered what we were seeing and in terms of attitude, we were talking about this earlier in the week at TI, Newbie didn't seem too confident. They weren't going around like, yeah, we're definitely going to go for that second-time championship again. They were just like, all right, we're just going to – they looked like they just wanted to play the game and play each game out to their best ability and see where that lands them. But, of course, the story still stands true. They are the champions of TI4, and that was a pretty impressive story in and of itself. Of course, bit of a lineup change, and people are saying maybe that's why Newbie's not going to be able to repeat that success. But everyone has their story, and in fact, it would be interesting to find out a little bit more about how Newbie is viewing themselves coming into TI5. So we have a little bit of a clip right now to take a closer look at one of their players, Moo.
Moo 是一个就是那种比较闷骚的人。平时就是话比较少吧，面对什么媒体这些人 比较发飙了，但是平时我们在训练的时候，他就是挺嗨的，有时候。
当我最后一场比赛最后一局的时候，赢了比赛的时候，那一刻我心情很激动，但是激动到没有去用我的表情去做出来，这是一个梦想，一个伟大的成绩。
木这个人呢，感觉他就是游戏天赋很高吧，然后但是他性格比较属于那种性格比较火爆的人吧。但是他就是打线下比赛吧，打比赛的时候感觉对队伍的帮助挺大的。他就是很靠谱的队友，就是值得信赖吧。感觉他会比较喜欢的事情吧，就会很兴奋嘛，就是挺搞笑的吧。听歌吧，会听到嗨的时候会就唱得很大声。